Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. How are you this morning? Oh, fancy apres-ski mug this morning. Beautiful and nice. So tonight we have the opportunity to worship with our Catholic brothers and sisters and those of us who went through the Lenten journey and Lenten series on Lamentations. We will be coming together for a tenebrae service tonight, a service of shadows up at Father John Newman up in East Freetown. Um, if you'd like more info about that, just message us. But that will, so we start off at 6 with a little bit of soup and then worship at 7. So um, if you're looking for an opportunity to worship this week, this will be a beautiful service of readings and shadows and candle lightings and all manner of good things. So hope that this Holy Week is finding you well and that there's goodness in it for you. Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. How are you today? Doing great. We're just So tomorrow we will have our Monday, Thursday service. We'll have that opportunity. Um, and then Friday we will have from 1 to 3. The church will be filled with music. Judy will be here playing for a couple hours, and we will have a concluding reading at 3 o'clock, the hour of crucifixion and death, and Good Friday. And then on Easter Sunday, we will rise at 10 o'clock and join together in our Easter vest. Hey, Karen, good morning to you. Hope you're doing great this morning. It's a good day for you. It is rainy, but it's supposed to warm up. I hope it does. It's in the 50s, rainy in 50s, kind of but hopefully we get a little bit of warm going today. Some of that springtime can find us. All right, let's get going this morning. It is the first day of April. It is April Fool's, friend. Welcome to our journey on this 11/11, this Wednesday. I hope you're having a grand day. This notion of April Fools, nobody knows where it comes from. There's a whole bunch of theories out there about where we get April Fools from. But there is my favorite theory is the one that it comes from France, and that in it, that when the new year was changed, so in the mid 1500s, the new year, which had always been throughout most of Christianity been celebrated on Easter, that was the new year. The year began on Easter. Which makes so much more sense. Shouldn't the new year be in the springtime? Shouldn't the new year be when all the world is coming to life? That's when the year is new, right? Like, how do we get to this point where the new year is actually in the middle of the tundra, when everything is cold and broken and frozen? Now I can dress it up and make sense of it, but the old way, I think, probably was the better way. But this movement towards modernity that the world had, this movement towards the rational and our higher brains, and look at the big brain on Brad smartness that we had going, had anchored our new year in the 1st of January in about the mid 1500s. And there were some people who just didn't go with it, whether they were older, whether they were younger, but they refused to note that the new year was the 1st of January. Instead, they kept the old ways. They kept the old notion that the new year was actually on Easter or in Eastertide or the beginning of spring. And so the they began to be called because they linked the new year to the resurrection of Christ. It wasn't simply that it wasn't only that it made sense in the natural world, but it was also that it made sense in the spiritual as well. that the new year is the newness of the world is made new in the resurrection, in the Easter, more in the celebration of Easter morning, in the rolling back of the stone, in the overcoming of death. This is the world that made new, so said they. And so they began to continue to keep their time, to continue to keep their ways, then celebrate the new year at Easter. And when the world looked at them, and all of these people, and particularly the French aristocracy and the people who were, it was, it came from the king, so all the people around the court, the smart, the wicked smart people, as we would say, those who were the elites of our class would look at the world and say, oh, look at the April Fools. And that April Fools as a hoax and as a prank was as a way of teasing these people who continued to insist that Easter was the start of the new year versus the 1st of January, which seemed still in this day to make no sense in nobody's mind. And this really takes and it takes its origin from Scripture, I think. I mean, and they linked it. They called them April Fools because they were busy being fools for Christ, which is an entire movement within Christianity. There are within the Orthodox tradition and some of the Catholic tradition, but throughout there are these people who were fools for Christ, and they were named so, and that they linked these April Fools, those people who were insisting that the New Year was starting at Easter. They named them as April Fools because they were fools for Christ. They were people who were inverting the world, were operating from a rhythm of the world that was other than the world's rhythm. They were operating from a world of abundance and generosity and humility versus scarcity and loss and pride. That they took the values of the world and they inverted them and they lived from them. So that these saints that they talked about and these kind of radically crazy people who were out there doing crazy things as fools for Christ, they take their name right from Paul's letter to the church in Corinth, his first letter to the church in Corinth, because the church in Corinth was full of these people, these elite folks who were wicked smart and who thought of themselves as better than most people around, who thought of themselves filled with pride and filled with arrogance. And Paul's invitation to them began an entire movement. Paul's invitation to them read this way. This is from the 4th chapter of the 10th verse. We, Paul referring to Christians, and the kind of linking in those people in the church that were trying to kind of still be pufferfish and kind of all full of themselves. It says, we are fools for Christ, but you are wise in Christ. We are weak, but you are strong. You are honored, but we are dishonored. That this foolishness is this rejection of the worldly in all of its words, the rejection of worry, and when am I going to get my next meal? What's going to happen? Am I going to get healed? Am I going to be okay? The rejection of status, that this unafraid ability to live in such a way that they might be mocked, that they might be made fun of. This is part of that origin of the April Fool's joke being on the April Fools, that you might be a sucker for some sort of prank because of your generosity or your care or your openness, your gentleness, your wisdom, your love, that you might be called a mad person, madman in the midst. The words of Anthony the Great, one of the early church fathers, said this: "Here comes the time when people will behave like madmen, and if they see anybody who does not behave like that, they will rebel against him and say, 'You are mad,' because he is not like them." That the madness of the world, and we've seen the madness of the world. I would submit to you that this entire journey, this entire little 11:11 journey, was started in the madness of the world. The entire reaction to COVID, the entire reaction to all of that, that it drove us all mad in one form or another. We were encountered in madness, and we were called one another mad in all of it. But the madness of the world is just that. It is a madness of scarcity. It's a madness of loss. It's a madness of worry. And Paul's invitation on this April Fool's Day, I think, rings louder to us than it ever has. That we might be fools for Christ. That we might be fools for the things that are true and good and beautiful, and we might give ourselves away to those things in reckless abandon, that we might give themselves away over to the beauty of music, that we might make a crazy road trip across the country to go see one song that we always wanted to hear, that we may give ourselves away to generosity and to love, and the care of other people who maybe never can pay us back, or we can never get anything from or for, that we might be fools for Christ, and that in it we might inherit the wisdom of Jesus himself. We are, friends, at this hour and at this invitation in a mad, crazy world. There's craziness all around us. And if we are going to go mad, and if we're going to participate in craziness, why should we not be April Fools? Why should we not be fools for the Most High, for the most beautiful, for the most good, for the most wondrous? Why should we not be declare the calendar New Year right now and right this week versus some crazy time in the middle of winter that makes no sense? Why should we not declare today the new year? Why should we not declare every day the new year? That every day we might be a fool, we might be an April fool. Every day we might know the springtime of God's love for us. That every day we might open our hearts, we might open our minds, we might set our hands towards foolish things like love and beauty and joy. And that in so doing, we might be about the business of tearing down the madness of the world and setting it right as April Fools. This is my hope for all of you this morning on this April Fool's Day. Welcome, all of you. I just want to say hi to everybody in the chat. Hey, Debbie, good morning this morning. I'm so glad you're here. Jamie, glad you're here. Still waiting to become a Mimi. Oh my God, so exciting! I hope I hope it's wondrous and everything's going well. Good morning, Allison. Hope you're doing grand on this day. Valerie Schmalery, everybody. Hey, Val, so good that you're here. Thank you and welcome, everybody. Have a blessed and wondrous April Fool's Day, that you might be an April Fool for Christ. There will be no 11:11 tomorrow, as we are celebrating a memorial here. I'll be raising someone up, Dale Cunard, a friend of the church, and will be. But tomorrow we will also have our Monday, Thursday service right here at 7 o'clock. Peace and grace to you all, my friends, and we will pick up 11:11 next week. So happy Easter to you all, that you may all be April Fools.